everyone, my name's Pauline Miller. I'm the Director of Personal Touch Funerals. We've been inundated over the last couple of days now with all the changes that are happening regarding burials and cremations going forward for the next couple of weeks in light of the coronavirus. Lots of information's coming out. It is quite confusing because it's changing rapidly. So what we thought we would do to help you, of those of you who've had a loved one who sadly passed away, is to do a roundup of the important things that we're going to need to have a look at. A lot of these changes sadly will affect any of the ethnicities that do large funerals, primarily Afro-Caribbeans, travellers, Irish. So what we want to do is to just give you some point-by-point information that you can utilise and also come to terms with, because some of it changes quite rapidly, particularly if you've had a large function in the past. We're doing 3 videos. So the first video is just for those of you who are looking at burials. This one is going to concentrate on the new rules that are happening regarding cremations. And then we're also going to do one for those of you who sadly have had a loved one who's passed away for the coronavirus. Because the rules there are quite stringent and you will need to follow them. They are new rules that we all have to follow. So you've noticed I've got my notes here because I'm not trying to do anything amazingly off the top of my head. What I want to do is to give you information and to keep you safe. So let's look at the rules for a cremation. The first thing that we need to look at is when you're booking a cremation with your funeral director. In the past, we weren't terribly concerned as to how the person passed away. But in light of the new rules now, you will find that we will ask you the information. We'll ask you what was the cause of death. And we don't want you to take offence at this. It's something that we need to know because unlike previously, you didn't have to supply a death certificate. But now when we give in all your papers, we will require a death certificate from you. And they want this because they want to see the actual cause of death. So that's one of the first things that's going to be changing. Registering the death. Once a person has passed away, you'll have a medical certificate from the doctor that will allow you then to go and register that death to get your official death certificate. And there's lots of confusion happening with this because many of the boroughs that previously gave you telephone access, some of them have withdrawn that now and you can only do it via the internet. So one of the things that we've actually found out though is there's something called an out of borough registration, which means, say for example, your loved one passed away in Lambeth and you lived in Croydon, you could talk to the Croydon borough and they would then take the information from you and liaise with the Lambeth borough and get you the relevant paperwork. This has been put into place to speed things up for registrations because sadly with Corona, you know, the whole cemetery and cremation situation is now completely changed. So what we'd advise everyone to do is to contact your local borough first. See if you can contact them by phone, if you can get through to them by phone to make yourself an appointment. Walk-ins aren't being permitted now because again, the social distancing, they're not wanting to have large crowds of people in a place. If you have difficulty with that, then go online. Many of them are now allowing you to book your appointment online via that. And if that proves difficult, then try your local borough to see if the out of borough registering is something that can be useful for you. So that's the second thing to be mindful of. All right, booking a cremation. I know particularly with the Afro-Caribbean marketplace, this is not something that we particularly like cremations, but more and more of us are opening our minds to it. And what I want to do is to tell you about some of the benefits of it, particularly in light of what's happening with the reduction of the services allowed at a burial. So the first thing is it costs about 15% of an actual burial to have a cremation, which is something to be considered. The second thing is you can have a large variety of times. Traditionally with a burial, there are 2 a day. Some boroughs are only 1 a day. With a cremation, you can have up to 12 cremations per day. That then is going to allow you to have more availability to be able to put your loved one to rest sooner. Whereas at the moment, the burials are anything from 3 to 4 weeks away for us getting you a date. With a burial, you are advised to bury in the area that you're a resident of. But with cremations, you can actually have a cremation service and have the cremated remains of your loved one anywhere in the country. So again, it just gives you a little bit more flexibility than if we are looking at boroughs. And one of the big plus points in this climate now is it's one of the few options that you have that will allow you to have a service. So sadly with burials, a lot of services are being withdrawn. So it means you're going to have to what they call go straight to grave and bury your loved one. But with a cremation, you do get a 30-minute chapel time so that you can actually have a chapel service for your loved one before the cremation takes place. On the slots that are available, we're finding out that we would normally have advised you, particularly from the Afro-Caribbean race, to have gone for a double slot. So traditionally a cremation is just 30 minutes long. And the double slot would have given you something more in line that you would have got with the church. However, now, unfortunately, double slots are not available. So it's just going to be a 30-minute service. But again, I say for burials, there are no services at this moment in time for the vast majority of the cemeteries, particularly in South London, which is where we are operating very heavily. So this, again, the 30-minute service still means you can give a really beautiful service for your loved one and see them off with the dignity that you want to actually do.